Welcome to the final day of this 7-day yoga journey. I'm going to close today with an Ashtanga modified primary series, including a sun salutation and a Virabhadrasana, warrior poses, and then moving to some seated poses with vinyasa flow. And you may want to bring in a strap, a block, or a cushion. And if you'd like to put any music on in the background and set the lighting so that you find a space that's nurturing for you. And if you'd like to join me, we're going to start at the front of the mat, big toes together, heels slightly apart in mountain pose or samastiti. Tuck under the tailbone, find length in the spine, roll the shoulders to the ears, and then bring the hands together at the heart center in Anjali Mudra. Close the eyes, find the Ujjayi breath, victorious breath where we create the sound in the back of the throat. Focus the mind on the sound to quieten the internal chatter, and the movement, the internal intercostal muscles help to create heat to support you in your practice. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, pause, exhale, 2, 3, 4, inhale, 2, 3, 4, pause, exhale, 2, 3, 4. Continue with your own breath, your own rhythm. And then open the eyes, release the hands. Sun salutation A, Namaskara A. Bring the hands up to the diagonal, fingertips touch. Gaze to the thumbs in Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, bend the knees, chest meets the thighs. Fold forward, Uttanasana. Hands come to the floor, fingertips align with the toes. Push the ground to help lift up through the tailbone. Crown of the head moving towards the earth. Inhale, halfway lift, coming up onto your fingertips. Bend the knees more. Lift the gaze and straighten the spine. Urdhva Uttanasana. And then step both feet back into plank. Pushing through the heels, hands underneath the shoulders. And you can choose knees, chest, chin, or Chaturanga Dandasana. As you lower down to the ground, push into the tops of the feet and the heels move out slightly. Hands underneath the shoulders, and then lift your way up into either Cobra, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, Up Dog, or Sphinx pose, whichever feels appropriate in your body in this moment. Breathe here. Lowering back down to the ground, tuck the toes, and we're going to take the hips high into our first downward dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Checking the hands and the feet are parallel, equal distances from the sides of the mat. Tuck under the elbows, wrapping the triceps. Bend the knees, lift the hips high, release the head, gaze towards the navel, and find the Ujjayi breath. And then lift the gaze and take small steps to begin towards the front of the mat. Big toes together, heels slightly apart. Again, lift the gaze, straighten the spine. Exhale, fold your way down, Uttanasana. Use the hands to push against the floor and lift the tailbone high. And root to rise, hands all the way up to the diagonal and come back to Samastiti. One more time, hands lift high to the diagonal. Exhale, fold your way down, Uttanasana, lift the tailbone. Inhale, halfway lift the gaze. Step feet back, and again, choose knees, chest, chin, or Chaturanga Dandasana. down to the ground. Coming up into cobra or up dog, pushing into the tops of the feet, heels turn out, then back down, tuck the toes, lift the hips high into your Adho Mukha Svanasana, middle finger facing forward, roll, wrap the triceps, lift the tailbone in this upside down V, heels moving towards the earth. Find the Ujjayi breath. And lift the gaze as we step and jump through. Lift up, lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold your way down. Uttanasana. Root to rise, hands all the way up to the diagonal. And come back to Samastiti. This time, coming into Surya Namaskara B, bring the hands down to frame the feet. Tuck under the tailbone and then bring the hands back up to the diagonal in chair pose or Utkatasana. Squeezing the thighs together, knees, there's a space between. Exhale, fold your way down, lift the tailbone, lift and lengthen through the spine. And then inhale halfway, lift the gaze. Again, step or jump back into your plank pose, taking the feet wider, mat width. And again, choose knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga to the ground. Coming up into your cobra or up dog, drawing the shoulders back and the heart through. Back down, tuck the toes, keep the elbows tight to the ribs as the hips lift high into the downward dog. Lifting the gaze, step right foot through to replace the right thumb. Back foot grounds at 45 degrees. Bend deep in the front knee, so the knee is over the ankle. Tuck under the tailbone and lift your way up into Warrior One, Virabhadrasana. Breathe here, sinking deep to get the knee over the ankle. Take the hands down to frame the front foot, pivot on the back toe, step back to plank, choose your variation. Knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Up into cobra or up dog. Back down, tuck the toes, hips go high into downward dog. Lift the gaze as the left foot steps forward, back foot grounds, bend deep in the front knee, tuck under the tailbone and lift the torso high. Hands come to the diagonal, fingertips touch, gaze to the thumbs. Push into the back edge of the back foot and then take the hands down to frame the front foot, pivot on the back toe, step back to plank, choose knees, chest, chin or chaturanga. Coming up into your cobra, up dog, back down, tuck toes and find the Ujjayi breath as you find Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward dog. Lifting the gaze, we're going to step or jump back to the front, big toes together, lift the gaze, bend the knees more, and then fold your way down, Uttanasana, lift the tailbone high, and sit down low into chair, Utkatasana, squeeze the thighs, maybe try going a little bit lower, connect with the Ujjayi breath. And lift your way back up into Samastiti or mountain pose. Hands on the hips as we step out along the long edge of the mat. Feet wide. And if you take the hands to the T position, you want the feet underneath the wrists. Turn the right heel in and the back foot at 45 degrees. Opening through the hips, heel to arch a line. You're going to bend deep into the right knee tracking towards the little toe, and you want the knee to be over the ankle at right angle, so you may need to move the right foot. And you're pushing into the back edge of the back foot, but keep drawing the hips open so they're in line with the long edge of the mat. Bring the hands up to the T position, head over heart over hips in our Virabhadrasana B, warrior B pose. Bend deep in the front knee, lowering down. Imagine your hands are being pulled into your opposite directions. Tuck under the tailbone, lift the lower abdomen. And then bring the right forearm down to the right thigh and take the left hand up and overhead by the ear. Gaze, if it's good for neck, up towards the top hand, or you can look down towards the floor. Lengthen. Breathe into the pose. And then floating your way back up for the opposite side. This time, right foot turns in, left heel turns back. Heel to archer line. Different sides of the body, but again, open through the hips. Bend deep in the left knee. Again, check the knee is tracking towards the little toe, and you may need to move the foot. Hands come out to the T position. Head over heart, keep the tailbone tucked, lifting the abdomen, and gaze over the middle finger. Breathe here. And then let the left forearm meet the left thigh, and the right arm can come up over by the ear. Keep pushing into the right edge of the back foot and tucking under the tailbone. Gaze can move up to the top hand or down to the ground. Breathing into the side of the body, line of energy from the edge of the right foot all the way to the right fingertips. And lift your way back up and come to Samasthiti at the front of your mat. Taking the hands down to frame the feet, tuck under the tailbone and lift the hands up. Utkatasana, squeeze the thighs together. Exhale, fold your way down, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift, lift the gaze. Step back to plank. And Chaturanga Dandasana. Untuck the toes, heels turn out. Lift up through the heart center in your Urdhva Mukha Svanasana or Cobra. And back down, tuck in the toes. Lift the hips high to Downward Dog. And then lift the gaze and jump your way through, sitting down behind the feet and coming into staff pose or Dandasana. Feet are parallel, out in front, knees pushing into the mat, so thighs are switched on and the heels may be coming off the floor, toes pointing towards you. Fingertips towards the sides of the hips, pushing gently against the floor to help lengthen. Head over heart over hips. Find your center. Draw the shoulders back and the heart through. Breathe here. Then lift the hands high, find length in the spine, and exhale, fold forward. Index and middle finger wrap around the big toe, yogi toe lock. Straighten the arms, lift up more through the spine, so we've got length in the spine. And then exhale, fold into the pose. Elbows are coming out wide, in line with the little toes, not dropping, rather staying lifted. And the biceps are working to pull you forward. Chest is meeting the tops of the thighs. Gaze is lifted, chin is lifted. And work with your breath. Every inhale, think about lengthening. And every exhale, draw the Uddiyana Bandha in. Fold deeper into the pose. You may need to bend the knees here as you work deeper into Paschimottanasana A. Breathe into the pose. Find your edge. Moving towards it but never through. And then straighten the arms, an extra pull. Release the hold, take the hands high. And this time fold into Paschimottanasana B. You can take the previous pose again, or you can take the hands behind the feet, either interlacing the fingers or holding the edges of the feet. Straighten the arms again, lift up tall. Imagine that there's a piece of string lifting through the top of your head. And then exhale, take the elbows out wide, chest moving towards the tops of the thighs, gaze lifted, chin lifted. heart through, shoulders drawing down your back. Move with your breath. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold a little bit deeper. Draw the navel in and up, our Uddiyana Bandha. And straightening the arms, extra pull and release. We bring the hands behind the hips, 6 to 8 inches. Fingertips can face forward, backwards or sideways. Preparing for Parsvottanasana, squeeze the legs together and the toes together. And what we're going to be doing is on the exhale breath, we're going to be lifting up through the hips and the big toes are going to be pushing down towards the earth. So really draw the chest through and draw the shoulders back. Inhale and exhale, lift up the hips, let the head fall back. Breathe here. And gently lower down to the ground. Lift the legs high, cross the ankles and roll forward, avoiding rolling on the knees. So rather bring the hands down and then step back into your plank. And again, choose your knees, chest, chin or chaturanga. Untucking the toes and lift up to your cobra or Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Back down, tuck the toes and lift your hips high. Downward dog, gaze lifts as you jump your way through, cross the ankles and sit down. Back to our Dandasana pose. And if you have a block, you might not need this, but if you have any problems in the knees, it can be handy to have one close. Take the left fingertips over to the left side of the body and then draw the right foot behind you so that the toes are pointing backwards. And then if you have any problems with the knees or there's any pain, you can bring the block underneath the left sit bone. So the toes are pointing behind you and your knee, make sure it feels comfortable in this position. If it doesn't, you can do Paschimottanasana A again. Left foot is flexed, toes pointing towards you. Lift the hands high, find length in the spine, and exhale, fold forward. Reach for the left foot, straighten the arms, and then exhale, fold into the pose. Again, gaze lifts, chin lifts, elbows wide. And if you're falling over to one side, make sure the left leg is on the left side, aligned with the hip. Breathe here. And then straighten the arms, extra pull, release the hold, lift up off the hip and take the right foot out in front. This time the left solar foot comes behind you, toes pointing behind you, and bring the block under the right sit bone. Again, check that the right foot is aligned with the right hip. Right foot is flexed, knee feels comfortable in the pose. Lift the hands high, extra length in the spine. And then fold your way forward, reach for the right foot, straighten the arms, and then exhale, fold into the pose, elbows wide, gaze lifted, chest moving towards the thigh, drawing the shoulder blades down the back. Find the Ujjayi breath. And straighten the arms, bring the hands to the side to help lift you back into Dandasana. Feet out in front, hands behind the hips, take the legs high, cross the ankles and again, roll forward, hands down, step back to plank. Chaturanga Dandasana, untuck the toes, lift your way into Cobra Up Dog. And take your head back down to the mat, tuck toes, hips go high. Adho Mukha Svanasana, lift the gaze, jump your way through, cross the ankles, coming to sit down behind the feet. Back into our Dandasana pose. This time the right sole of foot comes into the left thigh. Turn the torso to face the left leg. Left foot stays flexed. Take the hands high, lengthen the spine, fold forward, reach for the left leg. Straighten the arms. Exhale, elbows wide, gaze lifted, chin lifted, elbows drawing back, heart drawing through. Pulse with your breath. Remember to draw the navel in as you go deeper on the exhale. Straighten the arms. One extra pull. Release the foot. Right foot goes out. Left sole of foot comes into the right thigh. Right foot flexed. Again, turn the torso to face the right leg. Hands go high, extra length. Reach for the right foot. Stretching the arms. Exhale, elbows out wide. Chin lifts, gaze lifts. Breathe here. And one extra pull, lengthen here and let go. Take both feet out in front, hands behind the hips. Lift the feet high, cross the ankles, roll your way forward, step back into plank. Choose knees, chest, chin or chaturanga. Untuck the toes, lift up, cobra or Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Back down, tuck the toes, elbows close to the ribs as you lift the hips high into your down dog. Lift the gaze and jump your way through. Again, coming into Dandasana pose. This time, bring the right heel to align with the left knee. The feet are close to the legs. And push with the right hand, the right knee across the body. And you've got a few options with the left arm. You can use the left arm to hold the right leg, or you can bring the left arm on the other side of the right leg, or you can bring the hands together at the heart center for the twist. So choose which variation works. So if you're going to hold the thigh, the right fingertips come behind you. Make sure you've got equal weight on the sit bones, lengthen the back of the neck. And this may be enough. Go a little bit deeper with the arm over the top and a little bit deeper again with the hands together. The things to watch is what's happening in the base of the spine. So you want to avoid rounding in the spine. So sometimes that's why staying higher can help. Keep the back fingers close to the glutes. And again, that's possible here, but when you bring these hands together, sometimes we can round. So find where you would like to start today and think about the back of the neck. And then release, take the gaze forward. This time, right leg extends, left heel aligns with the right knee. And again, left hand pushes the knee across the body. Maybe the right hand wraps around the left thigh, left fingertips behind you. Or you can bring the right hand inside the left knee. Or again, if you want to go into the full twist, maybe the hands come together. So choose the option that feels suitable in your body so that you don't lose the lumbar arch. Gaze over the left shoulder. Keep lifting and lengthening and twisting deeper on the exhale breath. Gaze forward, release the hold, hands behind the hips as we lift the feet high, cross the ankles, roll your way forward, vinyasa, step back to plank, chaturanga, inhale, cobra or up dog, back down to the mat, tuck toes, hips go high, lift the gaze, jump your way through, back to Dandasana. This time the toes come to the floor, knees lift high, hands come to hold behind the thighs for our Navasana pose. Lift the feet high and squeeze the legs together. Take the hands either side of the legs, reach forward, gaze lifts. Breathe here. And lowering down, bring the hands by the thighs, let the legs cross. And we're just going to come into Utpluti, So push the ground, shorten the midsection, round and flex in the spine as we lift the glutes off the floor. And then lower back down to the mat, bringing the soles of the feet together, close to the heels towards the body, the deeper the stretch in the hips in our Baddha Konasana pose. First, we'll take the hands high, lengthen the spine, and then exhale, fold forward, hands wide into a V position, forehead moving towards the feet. On your fingertips, so you're reaching as far as you can as you fold deeper in this pose. Connect with your breath. And then lift your way up, draw the knees together, top of your mat, hands either side of the legs, tuck under the chin, roll your way down to the earth. This is where you might want to bring in a strap. Keep the left foot flexed and lift the right foot up to the sky, maybe bringing a strap around the foot, shoulders on the mat, hips square, and on the inhale, push the heel towards the ceiling, and on the exhale, draw the foot closer towards the body. So you use the strap to take you deeper, straightening through the knee. Breathe here. Gentle pulses. And take the strap into the left hand as we cross the right foot over to the left side of the body. Right hand can come out to the T position, gaze over to the right hand. And then come back to center. Swap the strap into the other hand as the right foot goes out to the right side. Keep both sit bones grounded. Left hand can come out into the T position. Again, opening through the hip flexors. And then come all the way back to center. Release the strap. Right foot stays flexed as the left foot lifts, bringing the strap around the front, the foot. Gentle pulses. Again, bringing it into the body. Keeping the shoulders grounded, hips square. Really pushing through the heel, straightening the leg. And then cross the strap to the right hand. Foot goes over to the right side. Left hand can come out to the T position. Keep pushing through the heel. And then come back to the center. Strap to the left hand. Foot comes out to the left side. Right hand out to the T position. Keeping both sit bones on the mat. Push through the heel. And then come back to center. Release the strap, that can go to one side now. Bring both soles of the feet towards the glutes. You can touch the heels, hip width apart, hands push into the mat. Inhale and exhale, peel the vertebrae one by one off the mat, coming into our bridge pose. Squeeze the knees together, keeping a space between them. Equal weight in the balls and the heels of the feet. And then draw the shoulder blades underneath the back, interlace the fingers, drawing the hands towards the feet. Keep lifting through the hips. Gaze down the torso. And then slowly release. Draw the knees into the chest, roll side to side, massage the spine, nose to knees. Cross the ankles and roll your way up. And we're going to come into a pranayama to close. Maybe bringing in a cushion underneath the hips. Crossing the ankles. Finding a comfortable, easy pose. Sitting up tall, lengthen the spine. And bringing the hands onto the tops of the thighs, elbows in to the body. Close the eyes, focus back in on our breath now. 3 minutes. I'm going to cue you to start, and then you can continue. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Pause. Exhale. Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha, Jalandhara Bandha. Release. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Pause. Exhale. Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha, Jalandhara Bandha. Release. Continue with your own breath count now. So we integrate the practice into our body. And then let your rhythm of your breath return to normal. Keep the eyes closed and observe any changes in the physical body as you soften the breath. And opening the eyes, you're going to move into Shavasana, taking the pillow to one side, bringing the feet to the tops of the mat, hands either side of the legs, tuck the chin and roll your way all the way down to the earth. Let the ankles roll out, let the feet roll out. and let the palms face upwards. So we settle down for this final Shavasana of the series. I'm going to leave you to settle through this pose so you can stay here for as long as you want. Really focus in on your body, on your breath, and what's happening in your mind. Take as much or as little time as you need to find balance and stillness in your body. If you would like to wake up with me, you can bring the ankles together and take the hands up and overhead. Point through the fingers, point through the toes, maybe wiggling the toes, wiggling the fingers, and draw the knees into the chest. Roll side to side, massage the spine, bring the hands to knees and massage the sacrum, and then roll over to the left or right side body. Pausing in the fetal position. Let all your subtler energies redistribute. And then bring the hands to the side of the body. Make your way all the way back to a comfortable, easy pose. And taking the hands overhead, fingertips touch, draw into the heart center in Anjali Mudra. Thank you so much for joining me over the last 7 days through the different practices. And you can visit the website to find out more about upcoming events, live stream classes, or other offers that I'll be posting. So take lots of care, and I'm sending love and light. Namaste.